What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the other day, Treyarch put out some patch notes for a brand new update they put within the game, and honestly, it's a juicy boy update. With one thing in particular that made me extraordinarily excited. Now, I'm not going to start off with that one thing. I'm going to kind of just go throughout the patch notes in order from, top to bottom. But trust me, when you guys hear about one of these changes, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about when I, put this title together for this video. But ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead and dive deep into the patch notes, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time, mostly X-Defined and Black Ops 6, but you guys know the deal. I really enjoy my 6v6 FPS style game, so if you guys are interested in updates, patch notes, what the developers are talking about within the game, content drops, seasons, so on and so forth, I discuss it all on this channel. And last but not least, I will be live streaming today over on Twitch. Now, I am going to be starting a tad bit early because Double XP is going to be ending at around 1 p.m. Eastern time today. So I'm going to start my stream around 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. So if you guys want to tune in, hang out with me for a little bit, by all means, you can find a link to my Twitch channel down in the description of this video. Now, let's go ahead and dive right in because, again, this is a Beefy Boy update or Beefy Boy patch notes here. First and foremost, I want to go ahead and talk about the weapon adjustments. Now, pretty much all the assault rifles across the board got a nerf, but not really a drastic one. It's a very minor nerf. And I went ahead and tried this myself personally. The assault rifles really do feel fine across the board. And the SMGs, on the other hand, got a buff. Now, it's not really a damage buff, but they got a range buff, which in my opinion, I think was probably the right decision here because the SMGs hit for me. They really do. But I think that the damage fall off is what kind of affects the SMGs the most. I feel like a lot of people feel or felt like they needed to increase the damage range on all the SMGs. Like it was a mandatory attachment, right? You had to put that attachment on the SMGs or else you're just not going to be able to compete with anything else in the game unless you keep your engagements very up close and personal. Well, honestly, I liked the SMGs before, but after this update, they just got even better. Trust me, guys. You have to give the SMGs a go. They feel pretty dang solid, and I hope to see a lot more people messing around with them because at this current moment in time, I see so many people maining assault rifles. It gets so boring because we all know how assault rifle gameplay is. It's, you see your typical guy go to a head glitch, camp, wait for people to run, forget all that noise. I love SMG gameplay. Nice, fast-paced, action-packed. And I'm hoping that this new buff is going to encourage people to actually pick them up and give them a go. But besides the weapon adjustments, they also messed with the spawns, as you can see right here. Spawns. General spawn logic tuning across several maps for improving spawns. Spawn tuning will be an ongoing process of taking in data, reviewing gameplay, and making measured adjustments in the live environment. Our number one goal is to always provide the safest spawn that we can across all maps and game modes. Now, I'll be real with you guys. I went ahead and tried the spawns. They're really gunky still, but the effort is there. I'm happy to see Treyarch is actively trying to perfect them. I just hope that they can perfect them because, again, the map designs in this game are not too solid. They're extraordinarily small. So I'm not really holding my breath on them perfecting spawns, but still, it's nice to see them, take this step. But I will, again, I have to be real with you guys, the spawn logic isn't really changed up for the better. It's still pretty whack. You're going to have people spawning behind you all the time. The spawn traps are going to be extremely easy to hold, especially if you have a 6-man party, so on and so forth. That's just kind of, the vibes right now in Black Ops 6. So hopefully they can continue to perfect this. Next up, we have some loadout changes. Addressed an issue where players would automatically equip their previously used loadout when joining matches already in progress, and addressed an issue where players would die at initial spawn when selecting their loadout. So again, great to hear. Anybody who's getting clapped out by spawning in with the class setup, hopefully that's no longer happening. It never happened to me personally, but it just sounded extraordinarily obnoxious, and I had to add that into the video here because, as you guys know, I don't really cover everything in the patch notes. I kind of pick and choose what I think is the most important, so of course, if you guys are curious about the full list, go ahead and check it out, but trust me, when it comes to multiplayer, you best believe I'm handpicking the best things are in these notes, especially as a multiplayer main. Moving on here, the perks got a little bit of a shakeup, and this right here is what this video is all about, ladies and gentlemen. We still have a few things to discuss afterwards, but this right here is what this video is all about. Perks. Recon Combat Specialty. Reduced duration that enemies are highlighted after respawning to 1.5 seconds from 2 seconds. An additional reduction will be coming before Season 1. Resolved an issue that allows players to activate Recon Combat Specialty by changing loadouts. And then Dispatcher. Increased Dispatcher perk score cost for UAV from 500 to 550, and increased Dispatcher perk score cost for counter UAV from 550 to 600. As we head into Season 1, we are continuing to observe data and feedback for perks and combat specialties in multiplayer. Currently, Enforcer is the most popular combat specialty, with Recon in second place. It's not just about the data though, as your feedback is a critical part of how we approach tuning of the live game. With that said, we are making some spot adjustments today as we continue to take a holistic look at our perks and combat specialties moving forward. First and foremost, I'm kind of shocked to hear that the Enforcer, specialty is more popular than the Recon specialty right now. But I guess it makes sense, especially for newcomers, and it's much more easier because, you get a bunch of red perks right out the gate, so if you're a new player fresh at it and you're trying to grind up the ranks and get your create a class system, it's easier to get a nice list of red perks and then you get a stim and all that stuff. It's the best of all worlds. But Recon, I don't think had enough time to be abused yet. I think as more players get comfortable with the game, they're going to see that Recon is ridiculously overpowered, and I can't tell you how thankful I am right now that they went ahead and adjusted this. I actually had a completely different video put together that I was going to discuss this because the devs came out over on Twitter discussing this earlier, but then they released patch notes and they put out a little tweak to it, so I was like, okay, I gotta scrap that video, we're going to cover the patch notes, and we'll kind of deep dive into my opinions on Recon in this video, while we also finish up the rest of the patch notes. But this is how I see it. I'm very thankful that Treyarch is doing this, and I'm extremely happy that they're still planning on doing further nerfs, but I don't think that they're nerfing the correct thing here. Again, I appreciate them hyper-focusing this, and I hope that we can continue to work on this problem here, but this is how I see it. Again, the Recon Specialist, bonus perk is not overpowered because you get to see enemies, right out the gate. It's overpowered because of the information that you can use to your advantage, A lot of people are annoyed that, they can't flank someone because someone with the Recon Specialist is, spawning in, they see them flanking, and they automatically get the kill on them. I get it. That's very frustrating, it's very annoying. And that's why they're reducing the duration from, 2 to 1.5 seconds, which they're going to further decrease it probably to 1 second, I'm assuming, once Season 1 drops here, which will be pretty dang short. But again, that's not the point. The point is that upon death, every time you die, you automatically get a scan of the whole map. You get to see every position that, enemies are lined up at. I saw a post over on Reddit. Hold on. Actually, let me pause this comment. Let me find this post real quick so I can showcase it to you guys. This post right here is from the Kansas dude saying, combat specialty Recon needs removed from the game. Wall penetration is not the problem. Everyone plays artificially, knowing exactly where the enemies are. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, this was said perfectly in the Kansas dude. I'm so glad you put this up on Reddit because it really made me think about it, and it's the frickin' truth. It makes everybody play artificially. Because before, there was a skill gap within COD. You had to actually have map knowledge. You need to learn the maps. You need to predict the rotations, where people are going to push you from, if they're going to be more aggressive and try to flank, if they're going to stick by the OBJ, what head glitches they might be on, if they're going to rotate from the head glitch after they kill you. These are all things that play into the skill gap of Call of Duty, because let's be real here, compared to any other game out there, Call of Duty is one of the most simplest FPS games you could ever touch. So, you have to have a skill gap in other ways, and map knowledge is one of those ways, and predicting enemies' movements is, once again, another part of the skill gap of Call of Duty, which Recon completely just negates. It ruins it all. It makes it irrelevant. Once again, it makes people play artificially, because every single time someone dies and they respawn with this active, they get to see every location of the enemy, who's on what head glitch, who's holding what, how close they are to the objective, how far they are from the objective. And with that knowledge, they can approach every single fight with predetermined odds. They go in and they know exactly what's going on, where people are, and what's happening. Instead of the rest of the crowd who have to go in based off of previous deaths, right? You die, it's like, okay, he killed me there. It looked like in the kill cam, or before the kill cam popped up, he was being a bit more aggressive, so maybe he's going to rotate around there, try to hold a spawn here, so I'm going to prep myself at that. No. Nothing like that. You don't have to use your brain. This perk was literally designed for the worst of the worst player. Like, literally, if someone is defending this and wants this in the game, I'm sorry to say it, I'm not trying to be mean, but you actually are a trash can, and you have to get better at the game. It just is what it is. This is literally a perk made for trash cans, and it's no other way around it. It needs to be toned down completely. No wall hacks whatsoever. In my opinion, there should be two things done here. First and foremost, Ghost should counter this in every way possible. There should be a hard counter to it. And secondly, I think it should only be a UAV scan. And not even just a full UAV scan, but a central pulse, okay? Right when you spawn in, it should be a tiny pulse around your body where it will scan someone on the, the UAV up on your minimap as a red dot, but only so close to your spawn. So it's not across the map, but, if someone's like right there and it's a bad spawn, for example, right? And you're getting spawned next to someone and you're about to get screwed over again, you can at least see that, right? Whatever. I still don't agree with it, but that's way better than having literally 3D scans through walls to see exactly where the enemies are coming up from. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying here. I don't want to ramble on too long here because I have more things to discuss in the patch notes, but this is seriously the biggest point of this topic, this discussion, is this perk being adjusted. And again, I'm so happy Treyarch is, railing it. They're ramming this perk right now, and they're going to continuously ram it into Season 1, they said, because they're doing further reductions. But I really hope they reconsider, reducing the time and just completely change how it works, because this is just, again, like Kansas Dude said, it makes people play artificially. They know every engagement before they even get into the gunfight, which to me personally just kills the overall flow and the fun of the game. And again, it ruins that skill gap in Call of Duty when it comes to map knowledge. But let's go ahead and move on here to equipment. Flashbang. Reduced flashbang tactical screen effect duration by 20%. Now, I don't know if this is towards the perks. I don't think it is, actually, because this would have been listed under the perks section for Tac Mask. So I'm assuming that they're actually reducing the flashbang effect, which, thank God, man. Again, for a game with so many small maps, the flashbang spam is ridiculous. It is absolutely insane. Like Babylon, for example. You guys know I love that map, right? But my God, every time you go to the central part of that map or anywhere, for example, you're getting flashed like 8 times, and they last so long. So I'm hoping that this will help a little bit with that without, making people feel forced to use a tac mask or something like that. Moving on here, the score streaks. Increased health of UAV and counter UAV. Rockets to destroy remain unchanged. Increased initial explosion radius of napalm strike. Reduced the initial entry delay of the LDBR. Increased the fly-in speed of the strategic bomber. And reduced score cost for interceptors from 1250 to 1150. Honestly, I like these all. Again, it was way too easy to take down UAVs and counters with your gun, so to make it a little bit harder is nice and make people maybe pull out their rockets. Increase the initial explosion radius of the napalm. I don't like the napalm, so, anything to make it better is going to make me happy. To make the LDBR go into the zone faster. Maybe I'll actually use it, but I still think the Hellstrike is a lot better. Increase the fly-in speed of the strategic bomber. That's great. Once again, it's a really hard streak to unlock, so, to make it better than what it is great because it's pretty rough for how many points, you need to get it. And then the interceptors, I'm glad they decreased that because although they are annoying, you guys know I complained about them a lot in Cold War. At the end of the day, Cold War, they were annoying because they were way too easy to get. And, you didn't reset your streaks upon death, so everybody was getting them. But in this game, it's still complex to get 1150 score without dying, and to do that consistently, I don't think many, new players are going to be getting pocket, air patrols every 5 seconds. So I don't think this is a bad reduction. I think it's kind of decent if I'm going to be honest with you. Next up, movement updates. Adjusted stance change cooldowns to reduce effectiveness of repeated prone to stand movement. Enough snaking, baby. Yes, thank God, man, because snaking is such an obnoxious movement tech when it comes to Call of Duty, making yourself basically, untouchable. If you've seen clips of this, people can snake, and they basically what snaking is, you're going prone to stand up, prone to stand up, prone to stand up. But on your screen, you can see over the head glitch that you're proning behind and standing up over. You can see it. You can see. But from the enemy's perspective, they can't see anything. So this is a technique that's abused a lot of the time, but it's not really a, movement technique that can be countered. Literally, you are invisible on someone's screen, so it is something that can be abused in a bad way. So once again, Treyarch, good job. Thank you for clapping this out of existence when it comes to Call of Duty here. Next up, they changed up some XP rates, adjusted player XP and weapon XP earn rates for most modes to ensure that players are being rewarded for their match performance as expected wherever they play. These changes include increased weapon XP earn rates for most modes, increased player XP earn rates for the following modes: TDM, Control, Search and Destroy, and Gunfight, and slight decrease to player XP and weapon XP earned in face-off mode. Once again, can't complain with that. Having some additional XP is good for, especially for games like Search and Destroy, because I know it's really hard to rank up in that mode right now. And then they also listed some known future issues that they're going to be working on here with the Gunsmith. We're investigating an issue where any equipped optic attachment is removed when entering the Gunsmith in main menus. Now, they did list off some, ways that you can, work around this. I'm not going to read them off. I'm going to leave this up to you guys. I'm going to leave it up on the screen a little bit longer so you could read it. But, they give you some workarounds if you're running into this issue. I haven't ran into it personally, but I've heard some people in my stream in the comment section say they're running into it. So, at least they know about it, they're working on it, and there's ways to actually get around it currently. That might not be the best ways, but it's still something until they can actually get their hands on and, finish it up. But ladies and gentlemen, realistically, not a bad update. I think it's pretty decent here. ARs got tuned, SMGs got tuned to make them a bit better. I think people are going to really enjoy that. I see way more ARs than SMGs, so I'm hoping that this will, make SMGs a bit more efficient, and used, because I enjoy them. I think they're fun in this game, but I don't see many people enjoy them because they don't want to grind them up and get attachments. The ARs are so good right out the gate. You don't need anything on them, and they just simply destroy. So I hope that this changes the game for the better. I tested out all this stuff. It seems to be cool. The recon ability is still overpowered and annoying. I hope they continue to hyper-focus that. That is my main priority right now when it comes to this game. I'm dealing with a lot of stuff here, and there are other things to critique, especially the maps, which I am going to have another video about that coming up soon here, guys, so, stay tuned on this channel. But the biggest problem, I think, is the recon specialty. That is just absolutely disgusting. The worst thing ever introduced into Call of Duty history. I mean, that's literally worse than, having, like, walls on a specialty ability, like in Black Ops 3, or for example. You know what I'm saying? Way worse, because this is upon every single death. Every time a player dies, they see everybody on the map, every location, where they're going, what head glitch they're holding, if someone's flanking, how far away they are. They get all that knowledge every time they spawn. Like, come on, guys. Seriously, that should not be in the game. So hopefully Treyarch looks further into this, and they will change their mind on how they're nerfing it, because it needs to be nerfed in a completely different way, if you ask me. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And last but not least, if you guys want to go ahead and check out my live stream, I will be live today over on Twitch. You guys can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace out.